What's going on, YouTube? Earth Power here with CVH,
How's it
bringing
going,
you the
everybody?
final
Oh,
match in
okay.
top 8 of the Season 3
Let's go.
bracket tournament. Trying to find another best deck
Ah.
in Light Fire Nature Turbo Burn. The winner, or not the winner, the runner-up of last season versus Light Water Nature, Alcadeias.
Yeah, this is a rematch from last season. Without further
Yeah,
ado,
sure is.
let's jump into it while Carl gives you the history.
Yeah, so this is one of those where it feels like Alcadeias should have the good matchup here, right? Like Alcadeias shuts down everything that this deck is trying to do. And excuse the buffering, I think we've got things sped up, but we'll get there here in a minute.
Yeah, it should be
Um,
fine, but
but yeah, Alcadeias is it feels favored, and this match went 2-1 in season 2. Before Turbo Burn ended up ultimately taking it and just going on a tear to the finals, where it inevitably lost to Waterfire Nature. Um, but yeah, no, coming back
it's
into
real
this
close.
again, yeah, I felt favored. You know, if Alcadeias can hit the board, and the only reason I think it didn't in season 2 was because of just a Soulswap misplay
Yeah, in game one,
in
right?
game one
Yeah.
or two, whatever that was. Yeah, so Force is no longer in the deck, so we've eliminated that obstacle, and we're just playing kind of the straightforward version that Halfar ended up winning a CIDC with. So.
I'm just gonna be safe and reduce the speed a little bit and deal with no buffering because I'm not trying to mess with tech issues right now.
Yeah, fair
So we'll
enough.
have no buffering. We'll just be here slightly longer, but it'll look more natural anyway. But yeah, like you
Yeah.
said, I remember thinking after season 1, especially after we narrated the match back, that it was basically Alcadeias' match the whole time, and it was just kind of lucky that Turbo Burn pulled it out 2-1.
Yeah. Turbo Burn just had the answer it needed at the exact right time it needed, and yeah, it ended up just going wider than Alcadeias in that game 3.
That
But we're
said,
back,
though,
yeah.
Turbo Burn has had iterations for season three's bracket tournament, and Alcadeias remains
Yes.
mostly the same besides the Force change. Like that's an important change, but like Turbo Burn has more Mysterios now, and as we can see, playing that card on turn 4 against Lightwater Nature, like you have some answers, but not, I would say, a ton of them.
Not
Miraculous
great
Snare
ones,
being the
yeah.
best. We'll see if you have it.
Yes. Yeah, Snare
Soul
and Soul
Swapping is fine
Swap are the
too.
cards that deal with it. Yeah, but that's about it. Um,
Because
and that's
we've talked about
it's difficult.
Alcadeias and you just have a handful of creatures, but like one of the ways Alcadeias
Yeah.
wins is just playing a bunch of creatures, and sometimes it involves Alcadeias, but sometimes you go wide. But Mysterios makes it very punishing to go wide and play your dudes.
Well, yeah, I mean, just to give you the option there too, and basically, I'm answering your mystery us with my mystery us, and I'm just again, with both of them on board, the idea being that if both of these stick around, I should end up netting more advantage because in a vacuum, I should have this match covered. If we're probably closer to 55-45 than we are, but again, still feeling favored, my mystery us should hopefully do more for me
That's
in the
interesting
long
because
run.
when you played your Mysterios, I felt like it was going to benefit me more. I mean, maybe it was because my hand was what it is with Essence Self and Reap and Sow, but in my mind, if we're both throwing a bunch of cards, I was like, okay, I'll just put myself in a position mana-wise to be able to play the more cards. So we'll both have huge hands, but I'll actually be able to translate that into tempo.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's tough here because I have Alcadeias, I have Olorus, and basically I just have to get a turn unencumbered to get there. So like I can play Olorus this turn, but then you just can't have any sort of answer in the next essentially 4 cards. The cards you draw off of the Olorus when I play it, and then your draw for turn. So 4 cards and 7 mana to deal with Olorus, which is unlikely. Alcadia or Apocalypse is still a great answer. Lets you deal with Olorus and my Mystrios, and that's truly what I'm afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
There are 2 in the
but
deck, but that's about
but
it.
if I play Olorus and you can't deal with it, I should fingers crossed, be,
Well, the other
as we say,
situation is
off to the
like
races.
in 4 cards, I also need to not have any mana burn, and I'm a mana
Yeah,
burn deck,
and
so
that's yeah. I think it's like something like 25% of your deck does
but
mana burn things.
this is still the turn because like I won't have Fortress Shell mana, so maybe if I just have more of those. But if I have like a Mana Crisis or another Reap and Sow or Cataclysmic Eruption or something, it's gonna be pretty rough. Or even Soul Swap would
Yeah,
get me to Fortress next turn, and that would be wonderful. I have the Bronze Arm sitting there waiting to be Soul Swap fodder, like half of its
yeah.
utility.
Yeah, I end up thinking this turnover quite a bit to eventually come to that conclusion of I just need to play the Olorus and pray. I win this game by getting Alcadeias on board, and you're already very far ahead. So if I can manage to hit Alcadeias on my following turn. Okay.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
this is. I
Here we
also
go.
want to like you have Soul Swap in hand, so like this isn't like game one of the last match where there were no mystery osses and you could afford to wait. Because I remember way back in season 2, the idea was that you wanted to wait longer, play Ulrus and like mana on the turn where you're going to Soul Swap it out, and then Soul Swap Alcadeias in one turn. But this game, that line is already not really available to you because I'm drawing cards off Mist and I'm gonna mana burn before you get to 8. So I think either you play Ulrus going into Alcadeias or you have to soul swap out my Mystrios. There's really no way to like hold everything and hope that I don't have mana burn in the next 4 turns. You're never
Yeah.
gonna make it.
Yeah. Yeah. Too far behind too early. And now we're in for the long game. So swapping out your Mystrios is great here. Unfortunately, that means I'm going to get to give you back either probably the Logic Cube, which is what I'm thinking you're going to get. Reap and Sow is also just not great. It's just regardless, it's not a great situation for me, but I do have to get it off the board.
I think Cube is great
End
here.
up
I'm
drawing.
surprised I thought about it so long, honestly. Like Cube into Volcano Charger is at the very least very good this turn.
Yeah,
But you are
yeah,
getting a lot of advantage again now that you have 4 cards. So Mystrios kind of has to be answered right now, I would say.
right. Like you can put a card in mana, Logic Cube for Volcano Charger, and still have 2 cards in hand to end the turn. And it's really just your deck at 7 mana versus my deck at 5, and you just need to have better answers over the course of the next 2 to 3 turns. Um,
I'm just
but your
realizing
board, your board's a lot stronger too. So
last time we were narrated, you were wearing the same shirt in the matches as you were on camera. Now it's me. I'm wearing well, I have a couple of these. They're just like Uniqlo white tees, but I'm wearing the
yeah,
exact
yeah,
same
yeah.
thing right now.
Yeah, shout outs to the what are they, Untuck It shirts, whatever, the nice like sleepwear t-shirts that you can still wear out. So
I don't have Untuck It.
is that what they are? I don't know.
No, Untuck It makes button down shirts, but they're like
It's button
shorter.
down.
I just
I
wear
can't.
Uniqlo t-shirts, which are great.
Fair enough.
Great quality. Just, not sponsored, but like, I guess if Earth Power wants
Yeah.
to get a Uniqlo spot, some Uniqlo, give this man some Uniqlo clothes. Come on, help him out.
just,
Give me some too.
just find a sponsor for Channel Earth Power. Is anybody watching these Duel Master videos? Guys,
Yeah.
chat it up. Let us know that you watched this today.
$1,000 a video
See,
minimum. That's his rate.
is it? Okay.
Now I'm trying. Hey, don't
Thanks.
question it.
No, yeah, I was gonna say master negotiator here. I'll take it.
Okay,
You still
so
swap
yeah.
out the mystery house right back out, so that's a whole thing.
Okay,
And then
yeah. So I spent a
here we
long
go.
time debating how much I cared about your Mystrios because I have the Logic Cube, as you know, and I just decided I'll just play 2 Mystrios, whatever, and I'll let him draw cards and go back to the idea that I had the previous turn, which is we can both draw cards and my cards will burn your mana. Because now you have like 5 million cards in hand. So I guess my thing was like, I don't want to waste my turn dealing with Mist. You already have all the cards you need, probably. So what's a couple more? I
Yeah.
need to get some cards myself. And this is how to do
Yeah,
it.
unfortunately, this means if you do want to deal with miss this turn, I have Alcadeias, and you can't really mana burn me away from it. So, like,
Oh, yeah, I'm not dealing with
priority
Mist.
one now.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Priority one is dealing with Olorus now. So, and
This
I
whole
think there's only one.
line
Well, there's
is.
2 cards in your deck that do it, and fortunately, Logic Cube can grab Soul Swap if you don't have the second one in your hand yet.
Yeah, I think I don't care about Mystrios at all. If I had cared about it last turn would have been the time it made sense to remove. Like I could spend my whole turn removing it, and you have 7 cards in hand. Even without Alurus on board, that would be a pretty bad decision. I think I can just do more proactive things and focus on the deck's actual game plan of mana burn.
Yeah.
1 mana burn card here is not enough unless it's Cataclysmic Eruption for 7.
Ended up not using Olorus's
Oh,
effect there. I think we're gonna go backwards on that here shortly. I'm
oh yeah,
very
that's
positive
a.
I just
Yeah.
forgot about it.
How did I forget about it? I was busy thinking
Yeah,
about mana burn.
yeah.
Oh, you're reading
Cataclysmic
it.
Eruption.
Yeah.
How many? Yeah.
But yeah, importantly, Cataclysmic Eruption burns 2 cards, which is exactly the kind of thing I needed, doesn't it? Don't you look at 3? Yeah,
It actually flips 3. Yeah.
that's what I said. Yeah,
All right, we got there. All right. Yeah,
and yeah,
Cataclysmic Eruption takes me off of Alcadeias mana again. So you're just in a good spot.
I love Cataclysmic Eruption. I just want to like shout it out real quick because I thought it was kind of a meme when I saw the one of in someone's deck a long time ago. So I put it in because I thought it's like really, it's one of those really fun, funky cards to play. But like that card has showed up
Yeah.
every like a lot.
I mean, just the ability to, and even off of Essence Elf too. Like two Essence Elf on board in the first 4 or 5 turns can just have a six
Yeah.
mana Cataclysmic Eruption that can, if you had a Bronze Arm Tribe mixed in there, can just have your opponent at 2 mana when you're going to 7 or 8 the following turn. It's just
Yeah. Some of the force of
it's
mana
pretty
burn
impressive.
decks, some of the force of mana burn decks don't find room for Bronze Arm, which I think is a little strange. I think if you're playing Mist, you play Bronze Arm for sure, but like there's like 12 nature creatures, and that's not even counting Fortress Shell, which you don't really have to play in this kind of deck, but I am. So lot of nature. Wait, actually I'm only playing 3 Sky Swords in this version, I think. But yeah, anyway, there's a lot of nature cards you can
Yeah.
use with that.
40 card minimums here. CVH and I are starting to like delve
Maximums.
into the maximum 40, thank you. But yeah, starting to dive into the IDC meta where we can just kind of play whatever we want with 100 card upper limit. So,
I do
it's
think that like
always interesting to think about as we
I think for a deck as
continue.
streamlined as this, keeping it at 40 or as close to it as possible is probably more important than like playing the 4th Sky Sword. I might get some hate for that, but like this deck, turbo burns in general really need to hit their curve. You can't really overstate the importance of cards like Essence Elf and Bronze Arm early.
Yeah. Like Sky Sword's not really like if Turbo Burn's doing its thing, right? Like Sky Sword shouldn't really be a card that it's not pivotal. It's not like the foul card or the foul decks that need Sky Sword to kind of hit its curve. Like Essence Elf gets you there. The Soul Swap and the Mystrios ideas get you there. Like Sky Sword is just a very good card. Obviously, that's why you run 3 of them. But I don't think it's a linchpin in what this deck is trying to accomplish. It's not a bridge card by any means to letting this deck do what it wants to, as evidence here by this match, as we just kind of you know, trade creatures back and forth and kind of sit in this stalemate.
Still pretty dope sometimes though. Bronze Arm, Sky Sword,
Oh yeah,
Apocalypse Vice is great.
yeah. No, right, and that's what I'm saying. Don't get me wrong, but it's not. I don't think it's as critical of a card in this deck as it tends to be, in some of the more dedicated control decks that run light in nature.
Yep. Kind of meta dependent whether you run 3 or 4. But you decide whether to lift one of your own shields there with Ulyris, and you decide to do it. And hey, look, it's a surfer. How many cards are in my hand at this point? Probably a lot. So now, with 2 Ulyrises, Mana Burn is my only way to keep you off of Alcadeias, but I should have it. But even then, you have 2 4,500 power angel commands staring me down. So I have to be aware that you could
Yeah,
also just race without Alcadeias, and that's not the easiest thing for me to deal with.
right. Yeah, part of me thinks I probably should have broken the 3 shields in Belix Essence Elf Bomidius there. Um, I think that would have probably just been okay. Let you take some favorables, and then have to deal essentially with 2 Olorises over the course of the next 2 turns. If I can cement any like 2 creatures over the course of the next turn, I would probably just
Yeah, because
have
this is
enough to
gonna
get there.
be the second
So
Apocalypse Vice if I don't already have it. And
yeah,
Mystrios and
yeah,
Bronze Arm just get hit for free. Like if you only had the 2 Ulyrises, I can only hit 1. So whether or not
right,
me trading into Mystrios and Bronze Arm doesn't change the outcome. It just means that you would have broken 2 more shields, which is
yeah,
something that's no longer on the table.
yeah. And I'm not sure if you put the other logic cube down. I think he did, but like part of me thinks I should have probably known that you had it.
I don't
So
think I see another Logic Cube in mana, so I got it back from Belix a long time ago before I soul swap Belix back out. Because you soul swapped in Belix like 5 turns ago or something.
yeah,
And that's when I
yep,
picked
yep,
up
yep,
Logic Cube.
yep.
Oh wait.
So
Did
that whole
we
turn's going backwards. Yeah.
Okay. Well we'll see.
Yeah. So still draw the card. Yep. All right. So we're still there, and now we're back at in the same situation. But basically deciding against playing Logic Cube, even after looking
uh
at your deck.
I think I just forgot to draw with Mystrios, honestly. Because I think I saw you draw for your mist like a couple of minutes after I played it, and then I was like, oh shit, I forgot to draw with Mystrios.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so I was gonna say that would have been a heavy take back after just digging through your deck.
Yeah. I mean, but so I should know every card in my deck theoretically, because everything else is
Yeah,
either face
yeah,
up or played.
yeah. Fair enough.
But yeah, it was mostly just I think the issue
End up
of forgetting to draw with Mist. Soul Swap out. Ooh, do I have the other Apocalypse Vice already in hand? Then I can full clear by soul swapping
no,
out Baza?
I saw it in your deck.
Okay. Well, this will be interesting. Maybe if I have like Volcano Charger and swap, that's better than an Apocalypse Vice. Because I get Bazagazil going. Perhaps.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll see. My hand is humongous. I have no idea
Yeah.
what I have, but I just assume it's everything except for the
Just
Apocalypse Vice.
everything but Apocalypse Vice, but everything else is probably just as good, if not better. Yeah. So now it's just playing numbers games, right? Just making sure you have the mana to do the most things that you can do.
Yeah, Essence Elf is fun to play with for sure because
Well,
so many more
the
intricate plays
numbers
are on
get
the table.
odd. Yeah. That one cost Soulswap's about to sting like a bee.
Oh, maybe a soul swap out Fortress Shell because I really wanted that on board to prevent Alcadeias for quite a while. I'm Belixing. I'm drawing off the Belix. Um, I'm getting Reap
You're
and
only
Sow
drawing
back.
one turn.
Maybe. Yeah, my deck is not. God, I thought I don't know what I'm doing with my life. My hand is like what 8 cards.
So many
Sorry.
cards.
I wonder how many cards are in your deck. You just looked, but it's probably a lot. Probably have at least like 15, 20.
Essentially got two deck piles there is really what we're looking at here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this turns a thinker for you. You're basically just trying to figure out what the numbers look like -2 on all the spells and then to do all the things.
Okay. Searing
That's pretty
Wave.
good.
Not bad, not
Yeah.
bad. Destroy the Essence Elf from shields, and then I play the 1-cost Soul Swap, which gets Fortress Shell out, serving double duty here. Takes you off of Alcadeias mana, and also is something that's bigger than Ulurus.
Yep.
And then a 2-cost Mana Crisis to also get rid of water. So yeah. Main concerns there were just removing as much of the board as possible so I don't get 2-turned, and also removing mana wherever possible to prevent you from building a board back. I think the turn mostly worked out. There was probably a safer play in there. I have to imagine looking back that like maybe the Apocalypse Vice was better because well maybe if I didn't have the others, if I had Soul Swap and Apocalypse Vice, that'd be great in my hand because I could have got the Bazagazil and also Apocalypse Vice, but wasn't meant to be. You do find a way to play 2 creatures though.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had to put one of the emeralds down to have water mana. I hold Holkus instead. Um, but yeah, I would have really have liked to have held on to Holkus and Emerald there, but I had to put one of them down just to have the blue mana. So mana burn continuing to just be the annoying thing. You're just shuffling your hand aggressively.
You know it. Channeling my Kibler.
I give
Breaking
you
Sky
that.
Sword.
Probably, yeah, probably shouldn't have broken Sky Sword there. Probably should have broken Bombazar. I don't care if you play Bombazar this turn. Sky
Maybe you're
Sword
on the
makes
mill
things
plan.
way more difficult.
Mill plan?
That's incorrect.
Is it?
There's no way that's
I have
fine.
9 or something.
Yeah, more than enough.
I'm definitely gonna stop drawing now, though.
Oh,
One would
shucks.
imagine. Hope I
You
stop
hate to see
drawing.
it.
I'm putting Mystery Os down. That's an easy mana decision.
That's just a 5 cost 2,000 power vanilla at this point in the game.
Yep.
Good lord.
Yep. 4 Mystery Os in this 40 card version of the deck might be slightly excessive, but
You say that, and we didn't do it last time, and we felt like we needed more of it. So
well,
I feel
last
like
time
it
was
definitely
2. Maybe the happy middle
having
ground is 3.
I don't know, having 4 definitely got you to where you are right now. So
Perhaps.
they're all in play, 2 in mana, 2 on board. And
Yep.
yeah, you're send you back to the tank while you decide how optimal this turn can end up going for you. Needless to say, guys, my back is way up against the wall. So 2 cost Volcano Charger. Sure that feels real good.
Feels great. Felix, are we getting it back?
Get
We
back
are.
the
Fun
Volcano
stuff.
Charger. Yeah, you're gonna deal with everything that I just tried to set up last turn. And
And
then
then
you get to
I
play the Sky Sword. Yeah, definitely shouldn't have given you that. I think that's the mistake here. Looking back, um, should have broken the Bali for sure.
yeah,
And just
probably.
had, yeah, that way I still have an Ulrus. Granted, I would still be in the same situation just with you with one less shield. So
Here comes the holy awe.
yeah, you go ahead and you're like, ah, now's a good time to start swinging, and yeah,
Yeah.
you just immediately break into holy all. And I'm thinking, wow, if I have another one down, I might be able to do this thing.
I think I have 6 left in deck. I'm spreading them out so I could see it in the future. Yep, 6 cards. Thanks me for remembering that I'm gonna need to ask that question months later while
Yeah,
narrating.
yeah. And we're gonna keep mine in a diagonal position and never look at it again.
It's more than 6. That's what
Yeah,
matters here. It's more than 6 by a lot because you can play this comfortably.
yeah.
But I'm not really sure how you're gonna deal with the 6 creatures that can attack. You can kill one of
This
them.
this shield setup looks something very similar to the Ice Sword match, if you remember that that 2-1 that happened a little while ago.
Excuse me.
Yep.
Sorry, I couldn't stop it.
Didn't even try to mute. You're
I
like,
forgot.
we have the technology, and you're like, let me get as close to the mic as I can for that. That's pretty great.
I'm sorry. Professionalism
Uh,
isn't at top of mind right now.
yeah, feels bad, man. Could have broken volley there, but it just feels worse now. Um,
You think
you
you would
just
be? I mean, Dinosaur didn't really like you. You'd have. I'd have 1 less shields. That's not that big of a
yeah.
difference. I would
No, I
also
would
have
have had
probably
to have
played
break.
volley.
Yeah. Well, I would have had to have breaken the Sky Sword this turn, so I think we end up in the same situation regardless. But um, you know, call it a micro misplay. I don't think it affected anything really, but here we are.
If we're looking for the biggest potential misplay, I would say like all those turns ago when you didn't break those 3 shields before I played the logic cube.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that. Do I have more than enough here or just enough?
Yeah. You have just enough. You just played the other Fortress Shell. So you have Essence Elf and Sky Sword, and they can't swing over the Surfer this turn. And I don't have Miraculous Snare and 2 creatures to deal with Blocker and break 2 shields. So that is the game. And I'm just going to prolong it because, here we are. Let's make sure we actually are dead on board. Sky Sword's the only potential out if it hits another
With
Holy
another
All,
awe?
but I think I.
I mean,
Well, no,
couldn't
I
you?
don't think so because I've got one in my hand. I already played one from Shields,
I mean,
so
if you had like Emerald,
um,
right?
yeah, it's just not an out. So um,
Yeah. Yep,
yeah,
yep,
that's
yep.
the game.
Let's see if we drag this out a little bit longer. The
So
answer is
yeah,
yes.
there's no way you don't swing here. But it's
Oh yeah.
basically just. I thought you were just gonna pile it.
Yikes. That's a disgusting mana setup.
It's just anytime you get too far ahead, it just becomes a mess.
1 cost volcano chart, -1 cost volcano chart, 0 cost, whatever it is. Belix getting it back, sure. Finding more fire mana deep in the pile. I still have whatever that amount of mana is, 8 more. I could have
Okay, we're gonna
played
count it.
Invincible Unity. Okay.
Yeah. All right, we got there. All
Game
right.
1.
Game one is in the books, and we are on to game two. See if I can make this a quick 2-0. See if we can get these boys out of here. Or But yeah, no, tough, right? Like Alcadeias never saw board. Could never really get to 6 mana efficiently. The Mystrios put me behind the minute it was played, and me not having an answer for it, and mine just wasn't good enough to race. And unfortunately, Alcadeias wins by being ahead, right? Like you have to hit your curve. You have to hit Olorus on curve when they're already reeling and dealing with the other things that you're playing. And unfortunately, Turbo Burn just had a better early game, and it's hard to deal with.
Yeah, I'm really glad looking back that I went with the play to just get my own mist back out, let you draw a couple cards, and play 2 on that turn instead of dealing with your Mystrios, because I might not have been able to maintain a hand otherwise, and that's very matchup dependent. Like I wouldn't have made that play against like Forbos or anything with fire basically. But your deck doesn't have a great way to deal with 2 Mystrios. It always takes 2 cards or a Holy Awe, so I just made that the Mystrios turn.
Yep. Yeah, my deck, yeah, and that's, I mean, any deck that doesn't have fire, right? Like, it's always just safe to go wide.
Yeah.
It's, it's never really a bad call.
Rare exceptions like
Uh,
Miraculous Plague or something, but yeah, it's not common. Well, let's
yeah,
see if your curve can get it done. Poisonous Mushroom on 2 is ideal for sure.
yeah.
And
Found
one of the
poisonous
coolest
mushroom.
things this deck can do is Soul Swap out a Mysterios or Ulurus on turn 3.
Yeah, yeah. Fingers crossed. We can get there. Mystrios is in hand.
Well, at the very least, you can play it next turn, and the board is already looking good, and you're breaking shields. I like it. I like the
Yeah,
aggression.
absolutely. Yeah, no 2-drop on your turn. Basically, just means I get to take a free shield. You don't really have any defensive triggers that can deal with my board, so counted as a free shield, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 5 here. End up playing the Mystrios. We're feeling good. Holkus can continue to swing.
I
Don't want to give
honestly
you the
think
favorable trade on Poisonous here, but it probably could have
I
just
would
done
have
that. It's probably fine.
probably.
Yeah, because if you swap out Bronze, right? Yeah, so
I
yeah,
guess maybe you
yeah,
don't want. I mean, it's not even a favorable; it's a one for one. But like, you're removing my swap bait too if you do that. I mean, I think maybe the thought is
yeah,
like you definitely attack with Hulkus because it's such a free shield. But when it's like maybe less of a free shield with Shroom, you can wait and just reduce the odds that I have Searing Wave or Volcano Charger this turn. But I do have the Volcano Charger.
yeah.
Searing Wave would have
And
obviously been the absolute best thing to have, though.
yeah, fortunately, I can't keep Mystery stuck, so we're just playing the Holkus game, and yeah, we're gonna beat you down with some Holkus here. Um, Thinking here that you're probably not gonna have another Volcano Charger again. If you have APOC, you have APOC, so might as well just break the shield here and see what happens.
Looks like a
Um,
swap a Rooney
yeah,
because it's the
so
only shield trigger in the deck.
yeah, you end up not swapping out. So basically, I'm just hoping you don't have APOC in that grip of a hand that you have.
Yeah, I think I do.
Just goes down fast, and yeah, you immediately slam it. So didn't take a lot of thought there for that one.
Can he
So
rebuild? He's
follow that
flipping
up
the
with
shield.
follow that up with Olorus. It was the card I drew off the Holkus. It looks like I have a Surfer in hand off the top deck. So if you are able to mount some sort of defense and not mana burn me, I can play the Surfer next turn. Even if you only mana burn one card, I can still play the Surfer next turn. So um, unfortunately, back is starting to feel up against the wall again. If you're able to deal with this Olorus at all, I think this is definitely the turning point for Turbo Burn if it can if it wants to take this game.
It's a bit scary. I mean, I don't really have one for one removal to speak of in this deck. I have Soul Swap, but Soul Swap always will give you another attacker with the current mana situation. So then you play another creature or two next turn, and I'm still being very threatened. Apocalypse Vice is great, but I've already played one. There's only two in the deck, so unlikely that I can play another one. And like all my other removal is for little guys. Polaris is just too
Yeah,
big. Swap plus Volcano Charger number 2 would be pretty good. Definitely good enough. Because right now, as you said,
yeah,
I'm just trying to not get my stuff broken. My Essence Elf is not going to provide much help in shields, and I need to deal with the threats, play a Sky Sword or two, and then figure out how to burn you. That part's
yeah. That's
easy,
I
but
mean,
I need
and
to get
that's
there.
where I'm at, right? Like part of me is just like play a blocker. Like think you can chump block this is really where I'm at with it at the moment. So
This deck doesn't even
would
really have
love,
that many blockers. It doesn't play Juliana. I mean, you all saw the
yeah,
whole deck last match, basically. It's just Belixes, and one's already in mana. I think there's one more in the deck. Um, Felix wouldn't really be getting me back too many good things here. If I have another one, I probably want to play it in a few turns to get back Cataclysmic Eruption.
yeah. It looks like you have Logic Cube in your hand. That might come into play here. 4 mana is going to do something. Essence Elf and swap.
Come on in, Rosie. Why not?
Okay.
He's not coming in.
That's a pretty good answer to dealing with the fact that I just am not going to be able to play that Surfer next turn. So now I'm just hoping I don't brick. So would love to find a creature to play next turn. That's what we need here. And you still have mana to spare,
And there's the
and it's a
Belix
Belix.
getting the Eruption.
Yeah, hell of a turn. Hell of a turn by Turbo Burn.
Yeah,
Kind
that
of
was really strong.
all all my worst case scenarios.
Only thing I
Coming
didn't do
into
is get
play
rid
there.
of Ulrus, but that could be a tomorrow problem.
Yeah, yeah. Part of me wants to swing here, because I think like it's bad. I'm in a bad position, right? That was definitely the what do you call it? The turning point of this match. Um, that turn was super critical for you, and you came out of it in a very not ahead of everything situation. Like Ulrich can't get through. I basically have to be able to send 3 creatures through at this point. I only have one to swing with at the moment. Um, and 2,000 power creatures are something your deck does deal very well with, especially seeing as how well you didn't get back Volcano Charger with Belix, but there's still another one down there. There's still some weenie removal left in your deck to be able to deal with cards like that.
Yeah.
And Logic Cube will get you there for 2 mana. Um, Yeah, 8 mana for a Logic Cube search, second APOC down, and yeah, feels bad.
Yeah, that
Feels
is
bad.
definitely
Fortunately,
an important APOC.
yeah, fortunately, you had to spend your whole turn on it.
Yeah, the burn has to wait. But burn is the most common mechanic in the deck, so
Yeah, yeah,
shouldn't be hard to start executing the plan this turn. With if
yeah,
nothing else, I have the eruption that'll burn at least 2, and that's not bad. It takes you off of all the powerful 5s while you draw mana. But so ideally, by eruption, I'd like to hit 3 cards. This is kind of a do nothing turn, but that's all right.
yeah. It was a brick hard for me turn with had Holy All in hand from the following turn. I ended up putting the Surfer down in
Hmm.
mana, and then when I played the Holkus, drew Holy All, and then
Sure.
topped Alcadeias. Yeah, so
Well, the
wasn't didn't really
awesome
have a plan.
the awesome art miraculous snare deals with the Mystrios, but it does give me an extra shield, which makes it even harder for you to eventually win the game. And then I finally find a third nature card to use with eruption. So now I have several basically free turns to just do whatever I want, even though I don't have
Yeah,
too many cards.
topped another Holy All. I continue to break these
Goodness.
turns away, and things are not looking well for Alcadeias. I'm basically just letting Turbo Bird flex on me at this point.
Yeah, we have the eruption, we have the reap and sow, and then the foul to get back the one of eruption.
Yeah, the one up foul. I haven't seen him around much lately.
Yeah, but sometimes he just gets it done. Another eruption here is just gonna, well, that's pretty good too. It's really,
Yeah, and now, yeah,
yeah.
now you
Now
can
we,
start swinging. So yeah,
this is a two
things are
turn.
not looking good. Yep, yep,
And you can
absolutely.
play one creature this turn, and then I can blow up literally your entire mana zone.
That feels bad. Yep. So yeah, looks like I'm gonna play either 2/2 drops if I have a poisonous mushroom, or just the Aqua Hocus. And I'm gonna regret life decisions for the course of the next like 30 seconds, and then yeah, just pass over to you and let you swing for game.
Yep. You'll see how much mana you can get. Just up to 4. That's nothing. Eruption is just gonna one shot that whole
Yeah,
mana zone.
yeah. Unfortunately, I kept putting my holy alls in mana when I was breaking them earlier, so now I don't have an answer with that last shield and that emerald. So things just feel bad.
Oof.
And even if I did have the holy all, you just didn't have enough dudes. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think
it's
I probably had
yeah,
removal just in case. Like eruption was a flex spot, but
yeah,
if it had a
yeah.
chance to lose me the game, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. But yeah, Turbo Burn takes it. Turbo Burn does it once again, making it into top four up against Water Dark Aggro. So
Yeah.
one of the decks that dispatched it, or not dispatched it. Water Light Water Fire Nature Turbo Burn ended up beating Fire Nature Rush, I think, in top four last season, and it's got another aggro
Yeah.
deck up against it here in this top four
That
this
that was a
time.
close
Water
one.
Dark Aggro.
Like Turbo Burn, it tends to be the worst against super aggressive decks like Fire Nature and Water Dark. So no matter which way that other top 4 match had gone, Turbo Burn kind of has an uphill battle in top 4. But it was interesting with this
Yeah,
match because you felt favored with Alcadeias, and it did almost
yeah,
win in season
yeah,
2. I remember someone else on YouTube was like, "Ooh, tough matchup coming up for Alcadeias." So it's kind of interesting. I mean, like the decks are probably like pretty close to 50-50. Like when Turbo Burn gets out ahead and just gets to go nuts, it doesn't look very close, but it does feel like a pretty tight matchup, you know? One Alcadius is all it
yeah,
takes
and
to
that's
completely be losing.
yeah. Well, and I mean, you guys saw a prime example there. Like CVH's ability to kind of keep me stuck at 4 mana is really difficult for Alcadius. Alcadius like lives in that 5 to 6 mana range because that's what the majority of the deck's for. You're playing Poisonous Mushroom. You're playing Bronze Arm Tribe. Just I don't even know if I'm playing Bronze Arm Tribe in that deck, but you're playing those cards to get yourself to that 5 mana mark, so that you can just start playing bomb after bomb after bomb, and Mistrios and Olorus and Alcadeias. And unfortunately, like if you saw it again, prime example, CVH was able to keep me at that 4 mana mark, and the deck just struggles there. The deck just doesn't have strong answers. It's only ever playing one creature at a time, and a lot of those creatures aren't disrupting board. So
Can
yeah, it's just
confirm you're playing a full grip of bronze arms.
yeah.
That'd
So
be
yeah,
crazy.
so there
But
you're right. I couldn't remember if I did. I didn't see it at all in game two there, but yeah, it's just it's difficult. It's tough for sure, and that's that's where it lies. Turboburn takes it 2-0 over Alcadeias.
but hey, we have our top four set in our third. What are we calling this? The new era of bracket tournaments. We've done. This is our third. Since we came back
Yeah,
to content after like 8 to 10 years or whatever. This is
yeah.
bracket tournament 3. We have our top four is set, and it's an interesting one for sure.
Yeah, 5 Civ Control battling it out of the play-in bracket to make it to top four, the dark horse, if you will, after Darkfire Nature Mikey's players got dispatched by Hydro Hurricane. Can 5 Civ Control avenge its fellow play-in bracket member and defeat the Lightwater Dark Hydro Hurricane? And then in the following match, Water Dark Aggro, the new kid on the block, if you will, Claude Alpha's signature deck, up against Turbo Burn, the runner-up from last season. So should be an interesting one. Top
Yeah.
four coming at you here in the next couple of days. Stay tuned for that. We'll probably have some polls out on the channel, so take a look, vote on your favorites, and we'll have some giveaway stuffs as we gear ourselves towards finals here in the coming week or so. Guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned, and until next time, peach.